Okay, so what I do on my vehicle when I have some nicks that I want to touch up so they don't rust and so, the color all blends in, I take, you want to make sure you get the right color based on paint code on your car. It should be on the door jamb sticker, unless the door jamb sticker isn't there or the car's been repainted a different color. In that case, you're gonna have to figure out the exact color, otherwise it ain't gonna look right. Then you also want a clear coat. Otherwise the paint just ain't gonna hold up and it ain't gonna be very shiny. I use a little paintbrush. This one's a little bit wide. Unless you have big areas to touch up, I would go with a paintbrush probably a third the width of that. You could get these at like an arts and crafts store or probably like the dollar store. And if the nick is down to the metal, you need to really be using a primer, and actually a primer sealer is best, because a primer sealer will seal up, whereas just a regular primer a primer will work as long as you make sure you get the paint and the lacquer on like right after you do it, because I mean metal can rust like almost instantly. You start getting like a very fine amount, but nonetheless the paint won't adhere. It'll end up coming off. So the better of a job you can do, the longer it's going to last, the better it's going to hold up. So in this case, you want to use, I always use primer sealer. I don't even mess around with just like any type of primer, unless it's all I had, then I would just use it, but preferably primer sealer. Dremel tool, if it's a big area, you want to be really careful. Don't slip and mess up paint elsewhere around the nick or the rust or whatever you're trying to fix. I use a wheel like that. It's a little sandpaper drum. And yeah, that's pretty much how I do it. You could refine the techniques. I don't want to make this video super long and complicated. I just wanted to give you guys a rough idea of what I do. I actually end up, and this may not be the best thing to do, but I end up mixing the color with the clear coat. I'll spray a little bit into the cap or into that's why this cap's all red, by the way, it used to be clear, into a little container, and I'll take my paintbrush and I'll just mix it around until it's mixed in good. Of course, still shake the can, especially the color. As recommended on the can, it'll tell you what it recommends. Like they all say to be shaken, but I think this one says like for a minute or 3 minutes or something like that. Just read the back of the can that you have and spray it into a little container, mix it up with a brush, and just start touching up. And another thing, I always if I can find it here, I use rubbing alcohol on the spots before I put any type of paint or primer on them, just to make sure there's no grease or oil or dirt stuck on them. It helps the primer and the paint bond better. So yeah, that's pretty much it.